Welcome back to another video. Today's session is going to be covering the poem on page 24, Song of the Sailor Boy. Now, before reading the poem and explaining it, I need you to look at this picture and tell me what you see. I'm gonna give you pause the video, think for a minute, tell me what you see. If you notice, there's a sailor, there's a boy, a man here, okay, and he works at a ship. He's looking at a ship. So the sailor is someone who works on a boat, on a ship, and the ship is a very big ship, and it has the tower that they use to see the land. Okay, we call it a mast. And there is water in here, and the water is covered with foam. So, Song of the Sailor Boy. First, let's read the poem.
Song of the Sailor Boy. Oh, I love the great blue ocean. I love the whistling breeze. When the gallant ship sweeps lightly, cross the surging seas. I watched my first shipbuilding. I saw her timbers rise, until her masts were towering, up in the bright blue skies. I heard the cheers ascending. I saw her kiss the foam, when first her hull went plunging into her ocean home. Her flags were gaily streaming, and her sails were full and round, when the shout from shore came ringing, hurrah for the outward bound. But alas, ere long a tempest came down with awful roar, and dashed our ship in pieces upon a foreign shore. But he who holds the waters in his almighty hand brought all the sailors safely back to their native land.
Now, after reading the poem, let's explain it together. So, Song of the Sailor Boy. Oh, I love the gray blue ocean, I love the whistling breeze, when the gallant ship sweeps lightly across the surging seas. Here, the sailor is describing what he likes. He likes the blue ocean, he likes the whistling breeze, the breeze is the wind, okay? Uh, he likes when the ship sweep lightly across the surging seas. He likes when the ships travel, when they sail in the seas. I watched my first ship building. I saw her timbers rise, until her masts were towering up in the bright blue skies. So he here in this stanza, he's describing what? He's describing the first ship he ever owned. So he saw it being built, and he saw the timbers, the wood. He saw the timbers being added and built into a ship until the mast. Mast, as we said in this picture, the mast is the tower that they use in order to check for the land. So it is the last part that could be added to the ship. So he saw it from the beginning until the last masts were added to the ship. And they were so high, they were up in the bright blue sky. In the stanza number 3, I heard the cheers ascending. I saw her kiss the foam, when first her hull went plunging into her ocean home. So here he's describing what? He's describing the ship. So he heard the cheers ascending. So after the ship is done being built, when they put it into the water, so people were celebrating that the ship is done building. So I heard the cheers ascending. So the cheers, they were celebrating. I saw her kiss the foam. So he saw the ship touch and kiss the foam of the sea. So they plunged the ship in the water. They put it into the water, into the sea. When first her hull went plunging, when first the hull means the body of the ship. When the body of the ship plunged into her ocean, and he described the ocean as her home. It means that the ocean is the home of the ship, where it belongs. In stanza number 4, her flags were gaily streaming, and her sails were full and round, when the shout from shore came ringing, hurrah for the outward bound. Here he's describing how the flags were uh, shaking and were waving. The flags were waving happily, gaily when it was sailing, and the shout from shore came ringing, hurrah from outward bound. So he heard someone shouting from the shore uh, for the ship to come. Someone shouting from the shore. Now, in stanza number 5, but alas, ere long a tempest. A tempest means a storm. So here comes a very bad storm. Came down with an awful roar. So the storm was so strong it had a roar, and dashed our ship in pieces upon a foreign shore. And it destroyed our ship in pieces. Where? In a foreign shore. That means in a beach far away from home. Foreign. The last stanza. But he who holds the water in his almighty hands, the one that holds the water, that controls the water in his almighty hand. Here, here he is talking about God. So God brought all the sailors safely back to their native land. So the sailors that were on the ship after the storm has destroyed the ship, all the sailors came back to their native land, to their home country, safe. Now, on your copybook, the vocab section, I need you to copy this table and to fill it. Again, pause the video, take your time, and let's correct it together. Here are the answers. In stanza number 1, the gentle wind is the breeze. Brave, honorable means gallant. Observation, platform, tower is the mast. Happily means gaily. Coast and beach means shore. Storm means tempest. Destroyed means dashed. Now, on the reading comprehension section, I need to copy this table and let's fill it together. Open your books to page 24 and fill the table. Now, what the sailors saw was the blue ocean, the surging seas, the ship being built, the masts, the blue skies, the body of the ship touched the foam, when he described it as kiss the foam. What he heard was the whistling breeze, the cheers ascending, the ringing shouts, and the awful roar. So now, on exercise B, page 24 and 25, we need to find the words that rhyme with the words in red. Before doing that, let's discuss and let's explain what's a rhyme. Words that rhyme with another word, it means that it makes the same sound. Rhyme in poetry makes music. So, the word that rhymes with breathe in the first stanza is, oh, I love the great blue ocean. I love the whistling breeze when the gallant ship sweeps lightly across the surging seas. So the word that makes the same sound, the same music as uh, breeze is seas. Now I need you to look at the poem and see what words rhyme with rise, foam, round, roar, and hand. So now, the words that rhyme with rise is skies, foam, home, round, bound, roar, shore, hand, land. Now let's do exercise. See on page 25. The first question is identify the passion of the poet. What does the poet like? Number two, state the main idea of the second stanza. What is a stanza? A stanza is a group of lines, a group of verses in the poem. Okay? So in a normal text, you find a paragraph, but in a poem, we call it a stanza. So in this poem, we have one, two, three, four, five, six stanzas. Okay? So in the second stanza, you have to state the main idea of this second stanza. I watched my first ship building. I saw her timbers rise until her masts were towering up in the bright blue skies. So here you have to state the main idea. Number three, why did the ship sink? So after building the ship, it sank. Why? Number four, what happened to the sailors on board? The sailors that were on the ship, what happened to them? And five, we have to compare and contrast between Caught in the Ice and the sailor Song of the Sailor Boy. So the passion of the poet is he loves sailing in the ocean. Stanza number two talks about the process of building the ship and lowering the ship onto the water where it sets sail. Uh, the ship sank because a storm wrecked it into pieces and on a foreign coast. Coast means beach, means shore. The sailors that were on the ship, they were rescued and brought safely back home. Finally, both the poem and the story talk about a shipwreck. So this is a point of similarity, a resemblance. And all the sailors are rescued against all odds. In the story, the ice pack in the Weddell Sea destroys the ship and leaves the sailors stranded on ice for months before they are rescued. However, a storm is responsible for the damage of the ship in the poem, and no information is given about how the sailors survived. So they didn't mention how the sailors survived, but a storm destroyed the ship. In Caught in the Ice, the ice pack destroyed the ship, but in the poem, a storm destroyed the ship, and we don't know if they were strangled or they took a long time to come back home. And all the sailors survived the accident, and we don't know any details. So this is everything for this lesson. See you in the next one.